Imagine someone in your life, maybe a colleague, a friend, or even a family member, who always seems one step ahead, effortlessly bending situations to their will. They charm, they persuade, they get what they want, but something feels off, like they're playing a game you didn't even know was being played. Niccolo Machiavelli, the 16th century master of power and human nature, would tell you that you're likely dealing with a Machiavellian, a person who wields influence with the precision of a surgeon and the ruthlessness of a general. Today, we're diving into how to spot these cunning strategists in your life and, more importantly, how to outsmart them. This isn't about paranoia, it's about seeing the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. By the end of this, you'll have the tools to recognize their tactics, understand their motives, and turn their own strategies against them, all while staying true to your goals. Let's unmask the Machiavellians around you and arm you with the wisdom to thrive in their world. First, let's ground ourselves in Machiavelli's philosophy, because spotting a Machiavellian starts with understanding the principles they live by. In The Prince, Machiavelli writes, "Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims for his deceptions." This is the cornerstone of the Machiavellian mindset. People are predictable, driven by self-interest, fear, and desire. A Machiavellian doesn't see this as evil. They see it as truth. They study human nature like a scientist studies a specimen, cataloging weaknesses to exploit and strengths to emulate. They know that most people act on impulse, cling to ideals, or crave approval, and they use this knowledge to manipulate outcomes. Spotting them requires you to see the world through their eyes, not to become like them, but to understand their playbook. So, what does a Machiavellian look like in today's world? They're not always the cartoonish villain twirling a mustache. Often, they're the charismatic co-worker who always gets the promotion, the friend who subtly shifts every conversation to their advantage, or the partner who seems to know exactly how to make you feel guilty. One hallmark is their adaptability. Machiavelli advises that a prince must be like the fox and the lion, cunning yet forceful when needed. A modern Machiavellian shifts personas effortlessly. Picture a manager named Alex. At work, Alex is your best friend, cracking jokes and offering mentorship. But when a project fails, Alex is nowhere to be found, subtly pinning the blame on you, while taking credit for successes. They're charming when it serves them, ruthless when it doesn't. Watch for people who seem too perfect, whose words don't quite match their actions, or who always leave you feeling slightly off balance. Another sign is their mastery of perception. Machiavelli writes, "Men in general judge more by the sense of sight than by the sense of touch, because everyone can see but few can touch." A Machiavellian crafts an image that distracts from their true intentions. Think of a politician who champions family values while quietly cutting deals that serve their allies. In your life, this might be the colleague who publicly praises teamwork but privately hoards opportunities. They're skilled at what Machiavelli calls fortuna, controlling their fate by shaping how others see them. They might shower you with flattery to lower your guard, or spread subtle rumors to undermine a rival. To spot them, ask yourself, does this person's public face align with their private actions? Do they seem to have an uncanny knack for always coming out on top? Let's talk about their language, because words are a Machiavellian's weapon. They're experts at ambiguity, saying just enough to inspire trust, but never committing fully. Imagine a friend, Sarah, who promises to help you land a client. She says, "I'll put in a good word," but when the deal falls through, she shrugs and says, "I tried, but they weren't interested." You can't pin her down because her words were vague enough to dodge accountability. Machiavelli would approve. He advises princes to never say anything that cannot be taken back. Listen for phrases that sound supportive but lack substance, or compliments that feel like bait. A Machiavellian's language is a labyrinth, designed to draw you in while keeping you lost. Now let's dig into the psychology behind this. Why do Machiavellians act this way? Machiavelli believed humans are driven by two primary forces, fear and desire. A Machiavellian exploits both. They understand that you fear losing status, security, or respect, so they subtly stoke those fears. Picture a boss who casually mentions layoffs while praising your work, making you work harder to prove yourself. They also tap into your desires, whether it's for recognition, love, or success. That same boss might dangle a promotion knowing it'll keep you loyal even if they never intend to deliver. This isn't random cruelty, it's calculated. They've studied you, mapped your weaknesses, and know exactly which levers to pull. The uncomfortable truth: most of us are more predictable than we'd like to admit. But here's where it gets darker. Machiavellians thrive because society rewards them. Machiavelli argues that the ends justify the means, and in a world obsessed with results, whether it's a corner office, a viral post, or a loyal following, those who bend the rules often win. Consider a startup founder, Eleanor, who charms investors with bold promises while quietly sidelining her co-founder. She gets the funding, the headlines, the glory. Meanwhile, her co-founder, who played fair, is forgotten. This isn't to say you should become Elena, but ignoring her tactics leaves you vulnerable. The world isn't a meritocracy, it's a chessboard, and Machiavellians are grandmasters. So how do you spot them in action? Look for patterns of control. Machiavellians love to create dependency. They might offer help in a crisis, but only to make you owe them. Imagine a neighbor, Mark, who loans you money when you're short on rent. He's all smiles, but soon he's asking for favors. Small at first, then bigger. Before you know it, you're running his errands, afraid to say no because he saved you. Machiavelli calls this the art of obligation. Give just enough to bind someone to you. Watch for people who keep score, who remind you of their generosity, or who make you feel indebted. That's not kindness, it's a trap. Another tactic is division. Machiavelli advises princes to divide and rule, and a Machiavellian in your life will sow discord to keep you off balance. Picture a friend group where one person, Lisa, always seems to stir drama. She tells you that another friend, Tom, was bad-mouthing you, then tells Tom the same about you. Suddenly, you're all at odds, and Lisa's the only one everyone trusts. She's not just gossiping, she's orchestrating. By keeping others divided, she ensures no one challenges her influence. If you notice someone fueling conflict while staying above the fray, that's a red flag. Let's not forget their knack for timing. Machiavelli stresses the importance of occasione, seizing the right moment. A Machiavellian waits, watches, and strikes when you're vulnerable. Think of a co-worker, James, who offers constructive feedback right before your big presentation, planting doubts that throw you off. Or a partner who picks a fight when you're stressed, knowing you'll cave just to keep the peace. They're not impulsive. They're strategic, striking when your defenses are down. If someone's actions seem too perfectly timed, trust your instincts. They're playing a deeper game. Now let's address a common myth. Many think Machiavellians are cold, sociopathic monsters. Not always. Machiavelli himself wasn't advocating evil, he was describing reality. In Discourses on Livy, he praises leaders who balance cunning with virtue, adapting to circumstances. A true Machiavellian isn't always cruel. They can be generous, charming, even inspiring when it serves their ends. The danger lies in their detachment. They see relationships as transactions, loyalty as leverage. That coworker who mentors you, they might genuinely like you, but if betraying you advances their goals, they won't hesitate. Don't mistake their warmth for sincerity. It's a tool, not a promise. So how do you outsmart them? First, see the game for what it is. Machiavelli says, a prince must have no other aim or thought but war and its rules and discipline. Replace war with power, and you've got the mindset. Stop assuming people act in good faith. When dealing with a potential Machiavellian, question their motives. Why are they helping you? What do they gain? This isn't cynicism, it's clarity. If your boss, Emma, suddenly pushes you for a high-profile project, ask yourself, Is she setting you up to shine or to take the fall? Test their intentions by observing their consistency over time. Next, protect your vulnerabilities. Machiavellians prey on what you reveal. Share less about your fears, ambitions, or insecurities. Imagine you're at a networking event and someone, Claire, probes into your career goals. She seems friendly, but later, you hear she's used your ideas to pitch herself to the boss. To counter this, be selective with your words. Offer enough to seem open, but never enough to give them ammunition. Machiavelli would call this keeping your own counsel. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being strategic. Third, turn their tactics against them. If they use flattery, don't let it cloud your judgment. Smile, nod, but stay detached. If they try to make you dependent, politely decline their help or return the favor quickly to level the playing field. If they sow division, confront it directly. Call a group meeting to clear the air, forcing them to show their hand. Let's say your colleague, Ryan, tries to undermine you by hinting to the team that you're slacking. Instead of defending yourself privately, bring it up openly in a meeting. Ryan, I heard there's a concern about my work. Can we discuss it now? This puts them on the spot, exposing their game without escalating into a feud. Another key is to build your own power base. Machiavelli emphasizes the importance of alliances, but not blind loyalty. Cultivate relationships with others who can support you, colleagues, mentors, friends, without relying on any single person. If a Machiavellian tries to isolate you, they'll find you're not alone. For example, if you're in a competitive workplace, don't just rely on your boss's approval. Network with other departments, contribute visibly, and build a reputation. That's hard to tarnish. When a Machiavellian like Alex tries to take credit for your work, others will know the truth because you've already established your value. Let's talk about emotional discipline. Machiavellians thrive on your reactions. If they can make you angry, anxious, or desperate, they've already won. Picture a client, Sophia, who delays payments, knowing it'll stress you out and make you more compliant. Instead of chasing her, calmly set boundaries. I'll resume work once the invoice is cleared. This flips the power dynamic. She needs your work, not the other way around. Machiavelli would nod in approval. He advises rulers to never let any government imagine it can choose perfectly safe courses. By staying calm and calculated, you deny them the emotional leverage they crave. Now, let's apply this to a modern scenario. Imagine you're a freelancer working with a high-profile client, Daniel. He's charming, always promising bigger projects, but he keeps delaying contracts, asking for one more sample while praising your talent. You sense he's stringing you along, using your work without committing. A Machiavellian move would be to keep you hooked with promises while he shops your ideas to cheaper contractors. To spot this, notice the pattern. Vague commitments, constant, flattery, and no concrete action. To outsmart him, set a firm deadline. Daniel, I'm excited about this project, but I need a signed contract by Friday to proceed. If he balks, you walk away. This isn't just self-protection, it's a power move. You're signaling you're not desperate, forcing him to value you or lose you. What about personal relationships? Machiavellians don't just haunt boardrooms, they're in your social circle too. Picture a friend, Mia, who always seems to need your help, moving, venting, networking, but rarely reciprocates. When you need her, she's busy or changes the subject. She's not evil, she's strategic, keeping you as a resource while giving little in return. To spot this, track the balance of give and take. Does she only call when she needs something? To outsmart her, limit your availability. Politely say, I'd love to help, but I'm swamped this month. Watch how she reacts. If she pushes or guilts you, you've confirmed her game. Then, redirect your energy to relationships that are mutual, not transactional. Let's zoom out to the bigger picture. Why does spotting and outsmarting Machiavellians matter? Because the world isn't a fairy tale. Machiavelli's genius was in seeing that power, not goodness, often shapes outcomes. Every day, you're navigating a landscape of competing interests. colleagues vying for promotions, friends jockeying for influence, even strangers angling for a better deal. Ignoring this reality doesn't make you noble, it makes you prey. By understanding Machiavellian tactics, you gain a kind of X-ray vision. You see the hidden currents of power, the unspoken motives driving people's actions. This isn't about becoming a manipulator yourself. It's about refusing to be a pawn. But here's the nuance. Not every Machiavellian is your enemy. Some are just playing the game better than you. That coworker who always gets the spotlight. They might not hate you. They're just following Machiavelli's advice to seem merciful, faithful, humane, sincere, religious, and also to be so, but to be able to change to the opposite when required. The key is to respect their skill while protecting your interests. You don't have to fight fire with fire. You can fight it with water, calm, deliberate, and unyielding. By staying one step ahead, you turn their strength into your advantage. Let's consider another scenario. You're on a community board, and one member, Greg, always dominates discussions. He's eloquent, passionate, but you notice he steers every decision toward his own agenda, say, funneling funds to his pet projects. Others don't see it. They're swayed by his charisma. This is classic Machiavellian theatre. Control the narrative, win the crowd. To spot this, watch for someone who monopolizes attention while deflecting scrutiny. To outsmart Greg, don't confront him directly. That's what he wants. Instead, propose transparent processes like public voting or detailed minutes that make his maneuvers harder to hide. You're not attacking him. You're changing the rules of the game. What's the deeper lesson here? Machiavellians succeed because most people are reactive, not proactive. They wait for problems to arise, then scramble. You can't afford that. Machiavelli urges rulers to anticipate troubles, to prepare for storms before they hit. In your life, this means building resilience now. Strengthen your skills, your network, your reputation. If you're secure in your value, a Machiavellian's tactics, flattery, guilt, division, lose their bite. They can't manipulate someone who doesn't need their approval. Let's address the moral tension. Some of you might be thinking, isn't this just paranoia? Shouldn't I trust people? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Trust is a luxury. Machiavelli didn't say to trust no one. He said to trust wisely. Blind faith invites betrayal, but calculated trust, based on evidence, not hope, keeps you safe. You don't have to become a Machiavellian to outsmart one. You just need to see the world as they do. A place where power, not fairness, writes the rules. By spotting their moves, you protect your goals, your peace, and your future. One final tactic. Use their own ambition against them. Machiavellians are driven by self-interest, so give them a reason to need you. If you're dealing with a manipulative boss, become indispensable. Master a skill they rely on, like data analysis or client relations. If it's a friend, be the one who connects them to opportunities, but on your terms. This isn't about groveling, it's about shifting the power dynamic. When they see you as a gatekeeper to their goals, they're less likely to cross you. Machiavelli would call this making others come to you. A subtle but devastatingly effective move. As we wrap up, let's reflect on what we've uncovered. Spotting a Machiavellian means seeing through their charm, their calculated vagueness, their perfectly timed moves. It's recognizing the patterns, control, division, dependency, and understanding the psychology that fuels them. Fear, desire, and the human hunger for power. Outsmarting them means staying one step ahead, guarding your vulnerabilities, building your own alliances, and turning their tactics into your tools. This isn't about becoming heartless, it's about becoming unbreakable. The world is full of players, and not all of them wish you well. But here's the final truth. You don't have to play their game to win. By mastering Machiavelli's wisdom, you see the board clearly, move with purpose, and claim your power. So the next time someone's charm feels too slick, their help too convenient, or their words too perfect, ask yourself, are they playing me? And if they are, smile, because now you know exactly how to play back.